Let me see what I can do here. Okay, I don't know. The Wi-Fi here kind of sucks. I'm at a hotel in France. It's a hostel, but I got a private room. Thank God, because I need to catch up on sleep. Anyway, I had to take notes because a lot's happened in the last few days. So after the waterfall, I went around and explored Munich, and I thought that was such a good experience spreading her ashes there. And when I looked at the live video, it was exactly 11 minutes and 11 seconds. And I think that's incredible because the angel numbers have been following me throughout this journey. And when I look at my phone, there's a picture of Raquel. It's my favorite picture of her smiling at me. And there's times when it's those angel numbers, the patterns 111, 1111, 222, 1212, things like that. I've read that. That's like a way they're communicating with you and letting you know something's going right, or just helping guide you. And I've had a couple instances where that's been happening. So I'm really excited to know about that. And I'm just grateful for it. I really am. So I went and checked out the English Garden in Munich. It's one of the biggest parks they have of greenery. And I thought it was really cool because it was the first day of spring and there was just droves of people out there. And they have an open container law in Germany. You could literally walk down the street with a can of beer or a glass of beer, however you drink it, and you could just chill in the park. I know there's some places where we could do that in Illinois, Arizona, but it's restricted onto what places, but it's pretty much anywhere in Germany. And it was just cool to see everybody just relaxing, enjoying the weather, there was just so much love in the air and happiness. It just felt good to take a walk through the park. The other cool thing is they had this river where people were surfing in it. There was like surfers lined up on their wakeboards and they were just taking turns. And it was really cool how they did it, how they took turns and respected each other like that. And people had some sweet moves. I got some video of it and I even took some slow-mo shots, and it was just cool. It's something I would probably do if I was here. It was a little cold, but they all had wetsuits. They knew what they were doing. They were set up for it. So anyway, I continued my walk through the garden, and in the biggest park, of course, you're gonna find a beer garden. One of those places where you get a liter of beer. And I got there right after the sunset, and I got served the last beer, which was awesome. So what was cool is I sat there, I was drinking by myself. The ducks were coming up to me. I was enjoying the last of the sunset when it was getting really dark. And there was a couple guys at a table across from me, and somehow we started talking. Turns out they're engineers for BMW. Linus and Philip, that was their names. They were cool dudes. But the relevance of that is they reminded me of the schnitzel. The schnitzel it's basically fried meat, and the one I got was pork. When Melody came back from Germany, she told me it was the best meat she's ever had in her life. And I just love to say schnitzel. So whenever I refer to anything in German, I always added schnitzel after it because I was just being stupid and thought I was funny. But anyway, I had to text her right away. I'm like, how the fuck did you not remind me about the schnitzel? So now I made it my mission to get a schnitzel. They told me the Wiener schnitzel was the best one. And so there was one that was 20 minutes away. I took the walk, but I got there and it was one of these fancy schmancy places, like steakhouse type style. And the schnitzel there alone was $25. And there's no way I'm going to pay that much for a piece of meat like that. That's not my style. There's no way I'm going to do that. So I quickly looked it up, and I did find there was a Pub and Grub, which is more my speed. And so it was kind of late at that point. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock, so everything else was closing. And I had to take a bus and a train to get there. With that being said, it still only took me about 12 minutes to get there, which was cool. And I get in there, and I was so happy to see the waitress and the bartender. They were just kind of sitting there congregating, and they were happy to talk to me. And I told them I want the schnitzel. And so they gave it to me. And I also ordered a side of Spätzle, which is a cheesy pasta that's got red onion in there, but they took it a step further and put a lot of cheese and fried onions, and it was just amazing. I also got a German beer that they recommended. I forgot the name of it, but all of that was $25. What I would have paid just for the schnitzel at the other place, and the meat, it was huge. It was like that big. It was like the size of my face, and I finished it. It was really good. So I was really happy with that. Anyway, I was having trouble with cash and everything, and my dad sent me some money through Western Union, which really helped a lot moving forward. And then the issue with my driver's license, my mom helped me with that, and that turned out to be a real huge pain. It took about 3 days, a lot of calling, emailing, but finally I got a printed copy. Whether or not it's going to work, I'm going to find out when I go to Sicily, because I'm hoping to rent a camper van when I go to Sicily, but I'm having problems with the only website that does the rentals, and it has something to do with the driver's license. So we're gonna see. I'm communicating back and forth through customer service. Unfortunately, it's only emails, and they take forever to respond. Rita sent me a picture of Nani's. That's my dog, Nalani. She's so cute, and she was sleeping in her crate like a baby. She is a baby. I miss her so much. That dog has been my godsend and my savior throughout this whole grief journey. I love her so much, and I miss her, and I just can't wait to squeeze her ear again. Just love her. Um, I know as far as Chloe, which is our cat, I know she's doing good because Melody's girlfriend Mia is going there and taking care of her. So thanks to all of you, Dad, Mom, Mia, Rita, Kaylee. Thank you all so much, because it takes a lot of stress off me, to where I can actually have fun or trying to enjoy it the best I can. So on my final day in Munich, first thing I did was get a buttered pretzel because I still haven't done that yet. So I went to the main square and got a buttered pretzel. And then I got a bratwurst on a bun, which was awesome. It was quite the experience. And then I went to visit, or I tried to go find this art piece. It's street art called The Endless Staircase. And it's kind of like a staircase that intertwines with each other in infinity, and it's supposed to represent that life is a destination, or an endless destination. I can't remember exactly, but it's more about getting. I don't know. I'm not a good interpretation of art, but it was something I couldn't find right away. And the other thing I wanted to do is go to the Deutsches Museum, which is a museum of European cars and trains, things like that. And I didn't know if I was going to have time to squeeze all this in, but since I didn't find the endless staircase, I saw a sign for the Deutsches Museum. So it turns out they were kind of next to each other, which was great. So I paid my €7 to get in, and I walked around that place for 3 hours. It was really cool. Their engineering throughout the years has just been incredible, all the way from the carriages they built that were driven by horses to the modern and what the concepts of the future are. The Germans are just incredible engineers. Much respect to those guys I met, Dennis and Philip. I hope you become these people, like to that type of greatness. I know one of them was actually just getting into public relations, but maybe they'll help each other out in the future. If one dude screws up, he can help, or he does something incredible, he can help promote it for him. But whatever. I mean, they were good buddies, and they became my friends. It's really cool. Um, what else? Oh, I went back to the hostel and just had a couple beers while I was waiting for my train. So I drank German beers, and I brought another one with me to bring on the train. So I drank a lot of beer that day, and surprisingly, I wasn't hungover the next day. So what was really cool, all right? I met this gentleman. He was my cabin mate on the train. It was a train with a sleeper car. I looked at him. I sized him up right away. I'm like, fuck, this guy's gonna snore. I could tell. And he was definitely a snorer, but apparently I snored too. So he was busted on me later for that. Anyway, this guy was awesome. He was a winemaker in Germany. He's 56 years old, if I remember correctly, 56, 58. I don't remember. I wrote it down somewhere there because I've been keeping a journal, which is kind of what I wrote these notes on so I can remember what to talk about and update you guys on. Anyway, I thought he was so cool. He was going to some championship soccer game, but he was on a 3-week journey himself, and he's going to end up in Portugal. Um, I forgot where he was. The Wi-Fi here kind of sucks, keeps cutting out. Anyway, so he shared a sandwich with me, bought me wine, and we talked for like 5 hours, just back and forth. Really great dude, but he told me something incredible. That waterfall where I spread Raquel's ashes, and that lake I found, they coexist. They are part of the same water source. So the waterfall bleeds into that lake. Well, that lake, it's all ice melt from the Swiss Alps. And so there's a whiskey that's made in Germany, and they distribute it throughout Europe, and they only pull their water from that lake. That's where they get their water. They don't use any other water. It's drawn directly from that lake. And he told me they age it exactly 1 year. So what I will be able to do is 1 year from now, I will be able to track down a bottle of whiskey that was made around the same time when I put the ashes into that waterfall. So basically, where that lake is just blessed with her essence, I'm going to be able to get a bottle of that and celebrate her a year from now, and just reflect on this journey and that. I just think that's totally incredible. Also, because he's an organic winemaker, he's got a lot of connections and he travels a lot. So he's got a connection to an organic winemaker in Sicily, and he gave me the dude's information. He sent him an email, let him know I'm probably going to be seeking him out. And so I could go and taste some fresh organic wine from Sicily and just get the lowdown, the scoop on the area and learn of some cool destinations while in Sicily. And again, I'm hoping to get a camper van, but if it doesn't work, I'll get a hostel and rent a car. But I'm definitely, I want to go inland and do the farm to table, visit wineries. I want to find some hot springs and, of course, visit Palermo, which is the roots of my family because we're Italian. You know, the Gino Salvatore Colucci. We're Italian, if you haven't figured that out. Obviously, my friends and family already know this. So I thought that was really, really cool. So I didn't really have a breakfast, but I went to Venice when I got off the train. I took another train to Venice, and wow, Venice. I know it's very touristy, but it was astounding. Like, just everywhere I looked was romantic and just beautiful. And I really wish she was with. I mean, she was with me, but like, God, I wish I saw with her in person. So the most incredible thing happened in Venice. I think this is probably my favorite part of this journey so far. I went off the beaten path and I went to a bakery, and I saw there was a cannoli that just looked amazing. It was called Cannoli Sicilian. I went in there and I bought it. It was €3. It's pretty big. It was delicious. But I asked the lady there, I asked her if there's any parks in Venice because, it's all water and canals. She told me there was, but it's more geared to families because I told her briefly what I was going to do, but then she thought of one and it was kind of like on a peninsula. She told me how to get there. It was a 50-minute walk, 50. And it was raining. It rained the whole time I was there, but as soon as I started heading off to that destination, the rain stopped, the sun came out. Like I felt like, okay, I'm on the right path. This is cool. I believe I even got angel numbers at that time. I have to go back because I screenshot every time I see it. But I made my way all the way there, 50 minutes, and it was a marina. So I don't know if we miscommunicated or something happened while I was walking where it got moved. So I decided to backtrack a little bit and oh wait. Yeah, I started to backtrack a little bit and wait, hold on. I think I screwed up. I think I screwed up my order of shit. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna move on with this story of Venice because it was incredible. So anyway, I backtracked a little bit, and I remember on the way there was a garden which I thought might be cool. If it doesn't turn out to be a good spot with this lady, which she recommended. But as I turned a corner, there was a dog. And I saw another dog and then another dog. And it was like an open field of greenery along the ocean with benches. It didn't seem like anything special, but I started getting a good feeling because of the dogs. Now, what happened was, which would happen in other areas where I got that sign, is a dog that was off leash came running up to me, and it was really cool. The dog just came up to me and said hi, sniffing me, started petting the dog. And there was this dude that just started yelling at me. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So I stopped petting the dog, and he came up to me, and he kept talking in Italian, and I didn't understand him, so I had to get the translator out. But it turns out, through translation, that dog was just attacked by a pit bull 4 days previously and had a fresh wound on its ear, which I didn't even notice. I was just so excited in the moment to be petting the dog that a dog came up to me and I got the sign like I'm on the right track. This is probably it. And so I saw the dog's ear. It was missing like the bottom portion of the ear. I felt really bad. And the dog was kind of scraggly looking, and so was the man. Like I didn't know like if this guy was homeless or what. But it was just my first impression. I was just not really paying that attention. I was more into the situation with the dog. So I apologized. I immediately backed off a little bit, but then the dog came back up to me. So he wanted more attention, wanted me to pet him. I was just careful of his ears. But you know how I am with dog ears. I love dog ears. I'm obsessed with them. So that kind of sucks. But I was able to pet his other ear, the one that wasn't wounded. Anyway, I told him what I was doing. I told him it was incredible that his dog came up to me. I was looking for a sign, and this was the sign. I told him what I was doing, and he said, my friend, I can do on my boat to a beautiful place to spread her ashes. And I was just like, come on, all right. Some back and forth, and he said, follow him. So I did. I took that chance and I followed him. We walked through some of the neighborhood a little bit to where his apartment complex was. He let the dog into the yard to stay there. And by the way, that dog was awesome. He was such a good boy. Turns out he's had that dog for 2 years since a puppy that he just found on the streets. And that dog just loves him so much. He listens to him, follows him everywhere. He was so happy despite being so hurt from his previous attack. But anyway, so he grabbed what he needed and we went down to the canal, and sure as shit, he had a fucking boat. It was nothing special. It was a fishing boat, but it was awesome. I couldn't believe it. I was like crying because like how this was unfolding and the generosity of this dude, because he just stopped everything he was doing and decided that he needed to help me with this. So I got into the boat and we drove through a marina, which through all the beautiful yachts and everything, and he took me out to this spot that he said um, was very special to him. And it was an area where it's kind of breaks. It was really pretty there. So he tied the boat off and he filmed me doing it. He took the GoPro and he filmed it, and I sent her off. I spread the ashes in the ocean, and I started crying, and I couldn't stop crying. This gentleman, his name was Roberto. He gave me a hug, and I latched onto that hug, and I hugged this stranger on a boat in the ocean for like 10 minutes, and I was crying because it was just so emotional, and especially the fact that this guy was doing this for me. And we went back, and he took me back. He didn't want nothing. I tried to give him money. He said, no, this was important for you. I said, please let me at least buy you a beer or something at your favorite cafe in your neighborhood. So that's what we did. We went and we got a little red Italian beer, and we saluted to her. We hugged it out one more time, and off on our separate ways. I just, it was so amazing to me. It just blew my fucking mind that this stranger would do that. And I told him I was going to pay it forward somehow. I don't know how, but in the future, when somebody needs some kind of help like that, or just whatever, I'm going to be there and make sure. And I'm going to think of that moment. It was just such an incredible moment. Anyway, so I went, I made my way to Bologna. I was only there for one day, Bologna, and I stayed at a hostel there, it was a great hostel. These guys knew what they were doing. It was set up perfectly. If I ever come back to Bologna, I am going to stay there for a few days. I really loved it, but for Bologna, I only had a few hours the next day, so Melody studied there for 3 weeks, and that's one of the reasons I chose to go there. And I hit the spots that she told me to go to. One of them was this pizzeria. It's called Pizzeria de Maciel. They were founded in 1870. I later found out from a new friend I met, Camellia, that they originally started in Naples, and Naples is like where pizza was invented. Anyway, so this pizza was fucking amazing. Like, I've never had anything like it. You had to eat it with a knife and fork. It was huge. I mean, God, it was like a 14-inch pizza maybe. It was falling off the plate. It was kind of floppy, but the crust was perfect. The cheese was melted perfectly. I got cheese, spinach, oil, Parmesan. This was one of the best unique pizza experiences I ever had in my life. Melody said it was the best pizza she ever had. So while I don't agree with that, I do agree it was the best of that style of pizza, and it was unique and amazing. Just because I'm a huge fan of deep dish and tavern crust style, but this is definitely one of my favorite pizzas now. It's not my favorite, but it's one of them, and I will definitely get it again. After that, I took a walk, and I passed by this. It was like a dried up canal, and there was an iron gate that had hundreds of padlocks on it. I didn't know what it was because there was writing and it was all in Italian. But after that, I made my way to this famous what do you call it, gelato. There's a name for it, but it was a bakery / gelato place. Melody said it was the best she's ever had in Bologna, because Bologna is the capital, the food capital for Italy, supposedly. And I believe it, because the food I experienced has just been nothing short of incredible. So Melody said to get the chocolate because she said it's so rich and it was amazing. And I got it. When I ordered it, the lady said, the chocolate, you do understand, we were voted the third best chocolate gelato in the world. And I was like, great, give it to me. And wow, I believe it. Let's just put it that way. It was phenomenal. So there I am eating my gelato. I ordered an espresso, and a girl sat next to me who looked a few years younger to me. And she got something similar, and I just looked over. I'm like, it's amazing, isn't it? And isn't it? And she said, yes. Anyway, we got to talking and we sat there talking for about a good 45 minutes. And she was really cool. I told her my story and she said she was going to cry. She said she was going to follow me on Instagram tribute page for what I'm doing. She gave me some suggestions for the area in a place I could stop, between here and there in France. But anyway, she rolled up a CBD cigarette for me, and we smoked it together. Just really cool, really, really cool girl. Um, so just, I love how it just made a connection like that and a friend. Um, let's see, what else? Oh, she's the one that told me this is huge. She's the one that told me the story behind it because I asked her about it, and she said that everybody goes there when they're romantically involved with somebody, and they put a lock on there to signify their love, the unity of their love, and everything. So now I had a new mission. I had 2 hours to get to the train. But I went inside the store and the staff was really helpful, helping me locate a hardware store, which was like a 10-minute walk. So I went, found the hardware store. I had to go to another place because it was kind of the wrong directions. Oh, I thought it froze again. But that lady, I had to use a translator, told me exactly where to get to her hardware store. And then she had a dog in her shop, which was really cute. Came up to me and I was petting it, filmed it a little bit. Anyway, I went to the hardware store. That gentleman helped me really fast. I told him I was in a hurry, told him what I was doing. And that service was incredible at the hardware store. And he told me how to get back to that area. And he assured me it was on the way back to the train station. And sure as shit it was. So I went there and I had some bystanders who were taking pictures, film me putting the lock on for her. I tried to inscribe her name with the key, but it wasn't really working. But there was a clothing store right next door. I ran in there, asked them if I can get a Sharpie, and I went and I wrote Raquel plus Gino, so kind of like everybody else. And it felt right. It felt an incredible way to, I know it's something we would have done together if she was with me. So it felt good. And I got back to the train station and I made it. The thing is with that train station though, I guess they changed tracks last minute and I didn't hear it on the overhead because it was so loud. So I missed it. But luckily the agent was still there. I had to go up several flights of escalators and walk pretty far to get to the agent. I made it right before she closed, and I was able to get a ticket for the next train, which was the last one, I believe. There was a surcharge of like 13 euros to do that. She was saying I should have been paying attention. I'm like, I couldn't hear it. She's like, I know it's loud, but it is what it is. I'm like, okay, fine. I'll eat it. Let's see. Oh, I forgot before that, and before I went to the gelateria or whatever it was, I climbed they call it the Asinelli Towers, and I got like a good vantage point of all of Bologna. 498 steps, and it's just a tower, and the steps just go around and round like that, kind of like a lighthouse in a way. And the staircase was just old wooden, creaky, and bolted into this brick wall that's deteriorating. That's in a structure that's hundreds of years old. So a little creepy, but whatever. And I was exhausted when I got up there, but I'm glad I did it because I worked off that pizza and what I was to eat later. I'm sure I burned like a few thousand calories. It was the views were just, it blew my mind. The views were surreal. Let's see. Oh, that. Okay, I'm almost done here with the updates, but that was some really good stuff. Um, so when I got to Oh, where was that? Oh, Milan. I headed to Milan. When I got to Milan, I checked in my roommate, and my roommates there, Essa and Luke. Essa was like this indie rock fan who is Melody's age. She's 19 years old. Melody's 20, and she was wearing a band shirt. And so I asked Melody if she knew that band, and she actually knows of the band, which was cool. But anyway, we quick conversation with them, and they were great. They didn't snore, so that was nice. I slept really good, and I woke up and I headed to my excursion, which was taking a train through the Swiss mountains, the Alps. I could have woken up a little bit sooner and I wouldn't have had to rush there, but I made it. I made it on time. A couple of people got left behind because they were late. They don't wait for you. They just take off. Anyway, on the train, right before we got on the train, we took a bus to get to where the train station is, and they let us buy a bottle of wine, things like that. So I bought a corkscrew. Actually, speaking of which, that's what this is. I'm gonna drink some wine now. And I got this corkscrew. It's a good thing I did. And some plastic cups, because I instantly made some friends on this train. And the one person I met, fucking most inspirational person I've met in a long, long time. The ride through the Swiss mountains was just absolutely surreal, like another planet. It was just so, so beautiful. Captured a lot of good videos, took some good pictures. Anyway, I met, first of all, I met this girl named Jolie from Honduras, who kind of stood up for me, because when I got on that train, the tour guide was like, no, you can't sit there. When I tried to sit down next to a window, there was a bunch of open seats, and apparently she's trying to hold it for a group of 7 girls. But it's like, well, where are they? I'm here, I paid the same. So like Jolie fought for me. So that was kind of cool. She was, I think like 30-ish. But so she was cool. And then she saw I had a cork opener, asked me to open her wine. Next to her was, or next to me was Yasmin, who was a 21-year-old. I lost the signal again, but Yasmin was on her last year of college, and we had a lot of conversations because she had a lot in common with Melody. So it was cool. A train ride with someone. Okay, hopefully, I'm almost done. I keep losing the signal. Anyway, it was she's incredible, and we exchanged information. I aspire to be like her, and we were all saying how awesome she was. Very inspirational, and I got her information, her blog, and I looked it up real quick. Very professional. It was just cool to meet somebody like that. I told her about my dad, who's 74. This is driving me crazy. But he's in Colorado, and about her. So anyway, that's that. Way back, I booked my flight to here, France. It keeps cutting off, but I'm gonna try and finish this, or I'm just gonna end it. To Switzerland. This is what I've been hearing all throughout my journey from other Europeans, and on a place called St. Moritz, and there was a huge frozen lake there. We were able to walk around the town. But even though the people were snobby, wouldn't look at you, things like that, I was having fun with them. And I took my GoPros, I was climbing, they had these huge escalators, and just all these Swiss people coming down and we were going up. So I put the GoPro in their face. I'm like, hey. And a lot of them were like looking the other way, but then I would actually get, I'd say half and half. Half the people were like, hey, and they would smile back and wave back. So it was cool. Like, they weren't as stuffy as I thought, but as I got into the town, they seemed to get worse and worse. They were just really uppity. Yeah, not my kind of people. I'm glad I chose not to stay in Switzerland. But I did meet very cool people. Of course, they were service people. So I was drawn to a bar that was playing reggae music in Switzerland. So I went and I ordered this drink called the Cuban. There's a story behind that, but I'm not going to get into it. But I chose that Cuban drink because it was a hot drink. And I chatted with the bartender a little bit. His name was Luca. And I told him my story, and I was looking for, I was really short on time. I was looking for places to spread ashes. And he basically told me about the lake that was in front of the train station. He's like, that's going to be your best bet for as little time as you have. But he's like, it's an incredible lake. It's frozen right now. You could walk out on it and you got the view of the city, but it's beautiful. I think that would be perfect for you. So I took his advice. He told me the story that his girlfriend that he's been with for several years, I think they were together for 8 years. What was her name? Juliana, which is like the equivalent of Julie. She just beat breast cancer 6 months ago, and I guess she's ready to get back to work. And she was there with him visiting. And it was cool. So I got a picture of them hugging each other, and I told them, cherish every moment. And it was really heartfelt for them, and they understand that. They understand that because it was a scare with her. So we kind of made that connection. He gave me a free shot, and we toasted to Raquel. It was Italian medicine. It was really good. It was strong. And by the way, on the train, finished a whole bottle of wine, and now I had this shot. So I was feeling pretty good at that point. Made my way down to the lake, and I walked out on it, and yeah, it felt good. It felt right. So I asked some strangers to film it, and I spent her ashes there, and it felt right, and I was happy about that. I almost got, because I was a little intoxicated, I almost didn't make my way back to the bus, the meeting place. But I found some other people from the tour and followed them. And it was a good thing I talked to this guy briefly before, because I remembered what he looked like, and he stood out in a crowd. So when I saw him, I ran up and I followed him. It's a good thing I did, because I would have went in a different direction. My gut was telling me a different direction, or at least I thought it was my gut. But anyway, made it with like 10 minutes to spare, but they ended up having these people behind because other people couldn't find the bus. So sucks for them. And that could have been me, but I lucked out. Anyway, the bus ride back to Milan was so beautiful. I think I found my favorite place in the whole entire world, which is northern Italy. After you get through, after you cross the border from Switzerland and Italy, there's just green pastures, colorful old-timey houses, waterfalls in the background, the Swiss mountains is the back landscape. It was just gorgeous. Like, I would freaking retire there. I definitely would go back and visit and stay at least a week. It was just wow. It's the best way I could put it. And I'm just glad I got to experience it. I took some pictures, from the bus window, and it makes me wish that I didn't come to France a day sooner, because I would have went back and spread some ashes there. It was like the perfect area, and what a great place to explore. But I'll be back. I will be back one day, God willing. Anyway, I made it back to Milan, and I slept great. I was so exhausted, so I slept really good. And in the morning, one of my friends suggested to check out this church that was called Duomo di Milano. Duomo di Milano. It's the second biggest church in the world, which took 600 years to complete. And I could see why. You look at it, and it's just totally Gothic vibes, like see vampires flying at it or something, and I felt like I should be painting my nails black. But the architecture was just, words can't even describe it. On the door alone, like the entrance to the church, there was probably 50 scenes, like 3D sculptures out of metal. And it was so detailed. Like, it was, one of them as an example would be 12 angels holding somebody up. And then another one, biblical times, just incredible. It's just been my word, incredible. It's just wow. And how big this church was. It was huge. I wanted to go see the inside, but the lines to get in was a couple hours long. So I ended up not doing that. But just the exterior alone was amazing to see. And I took a lot of pictures. I took a time lapse in front of it. It just blew me away. I had a couple hours before I had to get to the airport, so I decided to walk and with my heavy ass backpack, because I needed to burn some calories. I need some exercise, and I figured I'd be going through different neighborhoods. So that's what I did. And about 40 minutes into my walk, I came to this cafe, and it was really good because I got two types of different pastas that were just so good. And the lady was really nice. She heated them up for me. And they were just packed full of vegetables. And I got this tea, this herbal tea that was full of antioxidants. I just felt like I need to eat something healthy because it's been a lot of pizza and gelato and pasta. Because the food in Italy has just been, I'm going to say it again, incredible. Because, I mean, it's Italy. And so I had to eat something healthy. Anyway, so I did that. Then I was still a little hungry. Even though I didn't need to eat, I wanted to get one last pizza because I'm not going to be in Italy for a while. So I figured I'd be passing a pizza place sooner or later, but I walked another 30 minutes or so and I did not come across any. And then finally, I did. I went in that first one, but it was like a crappy pizzeria. It was like the equivalent of Domino's, so I was kind of disappointed. But then I walked the block down, and then I saw this small little storefront pizzeria. I walked inside, and it just really opened up. There was so many people in there, and the vibe, I was instantly greeted right away. Buongiorno! And everybody was so happy. And then right there was in front of me, staring at me, was a big brick oven, wood-fired stove oven, whatever. And the dude had the long paddle with the pizzas on it. And I could tell it was Sicilian-style pizza, the thicker crust. And I could get just a slice. It was a big slice, but he let me film it. He was eager to show off the pizza. So I ordered a pizza with a ton of vegetables, but I did add sausage to it. I was going to walk the rest of the way to the airport, but it took quite a bit of time because they were so busy to make the pizza that I had to get on a bus. No problem. When I got on the bus, oh, by the way, that pizza was awesome. The crust was thick and airy and crispy on the outside and buttery. It was just, yeah, delicious. But I got on the bus and my Apple Pay wasn't working. I only had 5 stops to go. I stopped trying after 3 times. It was just, nobody cares. But I think karma got me because I got off on the wrong stop. But that's fine because then I continued on with the exercise. But some fucked up shit happened next. Get into the airport, made my way, and the lady couldn't find my reservation, the booking agent. Take a sip of this wine, hang on. Apparently, I booked the wrong fucking month. I booked April 18th, not March 18th. Son of a bitch. I had to go to the ticket counter, and they totally hosed me. They fleeced me, whatever you want to call it. To get on the same flight, I had to pay an additional 228 euros on top of what I already paid. I was livid at myself. And I asked him if the flight was full, and he said, it's close to being full. That's why the prices are up. He was full of shit. Anyway, I wasn't gonna let it beat me up. It's my fault. I booked it while I was on the bus, headed back to Milan. I was extremely tired. But lesson learned, I need to pay attention to those details, especially when I am tired. So that was a costly mistake. Hopefully that never happens again. Anyway, when I finally got to the gate, I sat down, I opened up my phone, and there was Raquel smiling at me with 222. And it was like she was telling me, dude, don't sweat the small stuff. Look at the bigger picture. Don't let it ruin it. And I was looking at her and I smiled and I'm like, you're right, baby. Like I felt she was talking to me. It's hard to explain, but I felt her and I felt what she was telling me. And instantly my mood changed. Got on the plane and I was calmed down. And by the way, plane was literally only half full. There were so many empty seats. That's why I'm saying that dude was full of shit. But whatever, it is what it is. Like the Italians say, what are you gonna do? So I slept on the plane. And take a connecting flight that went pretty smooth. Got off in France, hopped on the tram. It was a €1.50, and I just loved hearing everyone talking with the French, the and the like. I just love it. I love the French accent so much. And then on the tram, it was all futuristic, and they played this epic crescendo of a sound every time they announce the station, almost like when you turn on PlayStation and it warms up and it does an epic sound, or like the beginning of a movie where they do the logo of who is making the picture. It's just so weird to me. Anyways, I got off and I'm walking to where I'm at now, the hostel, and there's a McDonald's, and it just instantly thought of Pulp Fiction because of the Royale with cheese, the McRoyal or whatever. There it is. It was totally like John Travolta said it in Pulp Fiction. So I had to take a picture of that. I thought it was cool. But then I stumbled upon this cafe. I was hoping to get some French onion soup, but the dude told me they didn't have a proper kitchen, but he recommended a sandwich. I can get a hot sandwich, and it was fucking perfect. And you know why? Because Raquel's one of her favorite foods of all time is the grilled cheese, and this was the French version of the grilled cheese. They put ham in it, and then they put the cheese on top. It was so good. And then he gave me a French beer called 1664. So I chilled. I did a time lapse video and just sat there out on the patio. And by the way, in France right now, the weather was mild. So tomorrow when I get to the ocean, it's gonna be beautiful, I bet. Because I'm right on the ocean. I can't wait to see it and reset. But I really enjoyed it. And that's it. The waiter was really cool. He talked to me for a good 20 minutes. He was really went on a rant about politics, and he explained to me on how Europeans right now hate Americans because of what's going on in the world, and America's to blame for everything because everyone counts on America, and everyone really hates us right now. He says it's too bad because he likes Americans. He thinks we're funny, good conversationalists. But anyway, he's like, hey, I'm here for 3 days. Come back, see me again. I appreciated the conversation, and vice versa. Likewise for me. So that's basically it. I don't know where I'm going to spread her ashes yet. I did book a tour for tomorrow to go to what they call the Grand Canyon of the French Riviera area. So maybe I'm pretty sure I'm going to find somewhere cool like that. I was drawn to it because they have lavender fields, which is Raquel's favorite flower. And apparently the fields go on for miles, right, with the Swiss Alps in the background. Or not the Alps, just the Alps in general. I don't know if really Switzerland, just whatever, the mountains. And but I realized that those don't bloom until May, so probably won't see any of those. But she loved lavender. She loves purple. So maybe I'll get lucky and a few will be bloomed. Who knows, whatever. But the gorge sounds beautiful. There's supposed to be an amazing waterfall and like a 700-meter canyon or whatever. So that, and I may try tomorrow and see if I can find a way to get to the place that those French dudes recommended. You know, the guys I hung out with in Germany. It's supposed to be a hell of a journey to get there, but maybe public transportation is that good. We're gonna see. So I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna look into it and see how that goes. But that's it. So I'm checking on. I've been talking long enough. I'll update again in a few days. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but because I'm gonna be headed to Sicily. But yeah, I'm hoping to get that camper van, but if not, I got a backup plan. And then I meet Melody in Madrid, and I'm so looking forward to seeing that kid and hanging out with her in Spain. So then I'm headed home, and I pick up 90s. But yeah, so good night, peoples. Turn this off.